Yes, it's intentionally overly professional. So this is an introduction to Overwatch, which how many in the room are actually familiar with the game? Okay, so that's a
So I know what you do with all your time.
Yeah. So of those people, how many of you are actually play the game? Like, okay, so a good number. So a lot of this is going to be horribly basic for anybody who plays the game because it's literally just an introduction to what the game is. So what is Overwatch? It's a game developed by Blizzard. You might be familiar with Blizzard from their work with, thank you Zach for filming, with their work with Hearthstone or World of Warcraft. That's probably what they're most well known for, as well as StarCraft. So really popular game developer, and this is their newest IP, and I think it was their first in a lot of years. It's a 6 vs 6 class-based first-person shooter. So if you've ever played Call of Duty, it's a first-person shooter in that sense. But every game is 6 people versus 6 people, and you play specific heroes that each have very different abilities and ways to impact the game. There's a lot of focus on teamwork and coordination within each game, but there's still a need for individual game sense and just mechanical skill of being able to aim and play yourself. So the game was born of the remnants of an MMORPG that Blizzard wanted to produce, but kind of fell through in the end, and the remnants were turned into Overwatch. Had a series of announcements, betas, alphas, and finally released on May 24th, so just under a year ago in 2016. This is about me and why you should listen to me. This isn't actually important for you guys, but when you're talking to people that are part of the Overwatch community here at KU, sometimes they don't listen to you unless you're high ranked. So, and yes, we actually do have an Overwatch community, so hey, if you're interested, hit me up about it. The main point on there is that I'm kind of high ranked, so maybe listen. So playing Overwatch. When you play Overwatch, you're typically going to play in one of 2 types of lobbies. There are others, but these are the 2 main ones. You've got a quick play and a competitive version of the game. Quick play is generally more casual and fun, and competitive is meant to be serious and you actually care about your rank and you're playing to win, ideally. That doesn't always happen with online games. There's 4 game modes: Assault, Control, Escort, and Hybrid, and each player fills a distinct role for each team. Blizzard gives the 4 roles as attack, defense, tank, and support, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. Lobby types, quick play, it is meant for fun. This is kind of the, hey, you've got 20 minutes to kill, hop in a game, just play a video game for fun, do whatever the heck you want. Originally didn't have hero limits, so you could have a team of 6 of the same hero and just duke it out with the opponents. Shorter games, they normally only play one side, so we'll talk about the maps in a second, but you really only go one way and winner takes all. Competitive changes that quite a bit. You're ranked, so you're going to play with people at your skill level that are similar to you in ability. There's longer games, so rather than just a single attack from one team, you're going to attack both ways, and then possibly have overtimes and extra time, and they're trying to make it so you can't ever tie, and it's fair enough to see who wins. You've got 1 hero per team limits now, so you can't just have a team of 6 of the same person. And you can only play with people, like I mentioned, within your group. You'll get ranked. You'll get placed in games with people of similar rank, but you also can't play with your friends if they're too far off your skill. Any questions? Yes?
Which would you rather fight, 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Easily a horse-sized duck, because ducks really didn't min-max their stats very well. They're pretty average in everything, so just giving them a little extra size, they're still pretty easy, They got brittle bones, they're bird, they don't fly. You can snap their bones with no problem. Taylor.
So, with all your playtime on Overwatch, how have you maintained such a short neck beard?
I go through a lot of razors. That's the short answer. Yes.
Who's your favorite character in Overwatch, and why is it Roadhog?
Not Roadhog, but I do
Really?
respect Roadhog.
Wow.
It's Ana.
Okay.
I'm an Ana main for the most part.
Interesting.
That's what I play for the team and what I generally play. Favorite hero because a lot of utility. Healer is so vital to a team composition to win, and also a lot of utility. So you're not just kind of a heal monkey where you sit and you heal your teammates. You actually kind of have a much larger impact on the game. You bring up Roadhog though, who fantastic hero. I did play a lot of Roadhog at lower ranking when I was climbing because if you're good at Roadhog, you can easily carry games.
Right.
Yes.
What's the best comeback story you've ever had in an Overwatch match?
Check out my stream.
What's your Twitch username?
Verotyk, V-A-R-O-T-Y-K. I guess I probably should put that on about the author. Yes.
So, what gets you up every single day What exactly?
Self-loathing for the most part. And despite the amount of time I have in Overwatch, it's not that big of a focus of my life. I probably should have just not put that hour count up. But it's there, you've seen it. So let's talk about game modes. There's 4 of them. First is Assault game mode, commonly known as 2 capture point or 2 CP. This game mode revolves around the team tries to attack a capture point, so you have to be on the point while the opponents aren't, and you capture it over time, and then you do that a second time on a further point down the map. Generally, one team will capture both or more of one than the other, and that's the determined victory, but if both teams full capture both points, you use overtime and leftover time to keep going until one team emerges victorious. They've been actually tweaking this a lot in the latest patches to kind of make it more fair, less fair. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, one because overview in 10 minutes in an ECS 388 class, but also because it's changing. Common maps, or the only 3 maps for this, are Hanamura, Volskaya Industries, and Temple of Anubis. Control game mode, King of the Hill, essentially. There's a center point, you try to stay on it when you keep the enemies off, and while you're on it and they're not on it, you accumulate points, and if you get 100 points and the enemy's not on it, you win that point. In competitive, this is the best of 5 with 3 rotating maps, kind of sub-maps on each map. So, for example, Lijiang Tower has like a garden, a night market, and one other map whose name I'm forgetting. But you play 3 different kinds of maps within each map, and it's best of 5 to see who wins. Escort game modes, these are called payload. Essentially, you have a moving payload that you have to be on while the enemy isn't, and it moves, and you get it through a series of checkpoints to a final end goal. Again, you try to do this depending on how you far. The enemy tries to get farther, and whoever gets farther wins. This is Dorado, Route 66, and Watch Point Gibraltar. And then you've got hybrid game modes, which are kind of a combination of assault and escort. So in these kind of game modes, you actually have to do similar to a 2 capture point map where you take a first point, and then you unlock a payload that you have to get to the end. I'm also really appreciating watching Liam just shake his head. Any questions about game modes? Payload.
So if you could create a game mode for Overwatch, what would it be?
They've actually, one of the ones I've wanted to see a long time is Capture the Flag, and they actually have implemented that to an extent, but it's really hard to balance competitively and make it fair. So right now it's living in their arcade game mode, which is kind of like a free-for-all fun setting where you don't have to worry about rank or their normal game. So I kind of really hope they'll further flesh that out, because I think it could be really fun, but it just takes a lot of balancing. Follow up?
Do you like long walks on the beach?
I actually don't like long walks on the beach, but I do like long walks. More of a runner. All right, jargon. Oh, yes.
Do you prefer a lager or a pilsner?
Do what?
Are you more of a lager, pilsner, IPA kind of guy?
I don't drink. But thank you.
Well, this is
So jargon, the game and video gaming in general is full of a lot of terminology that can be foreign if you're not used to it. So common meta terms, so outside of the game when you're talking about the game, you'll hear terms like hit scan. This refers to heroes whose attacks or abilities are instant. You click and it happens no matter how far away. Think of like most shooter games, like I think most, if not all Call of Duty games are hit scan. The minute you fire, it hits. Projectile, these are abilities that actually have speed and travel time or trajectory. So imagine if you were Call of Duty, when you shot, instead of it just saying, oh yep, you're pointing to the guy hit, picture it like it actually created a bullet and shot it at a speed and it had a travel time. That's how projectiles work. Most of them are much slower than that in Overwatch, but they're still projectiles, so they have travel time, so you actually have to like lead intelligence. Squishy, this is a term for just a hero with low hit points. Comes up with a number of them. Essentially, they're squishy in the sense that they're easy to kill. Dive and Deathball, these are 2 common composition or strategy terms. Dive is a strategy of quickly attacking and overwhelming a defense just through sheer force. And Deathball is a strategy of grouping tightly together so you're all together, easy to heal everybody, and just output damage. A pick is a quick, typically one-shot killer combo. Think if you had a sniper that just took an enemy out of the game, that's a pick. Meta, this is kind of double meta because meta is a meta term. It's kind of the relevant, successful game strategies and concepts. So The current Overwatch meta is just what's successful in the game right now, and it is relevant to what level of play you're playing. So metas change over time and are relevant to certain areas. Buff and nerf. These won't get touched on too much in this presentation, but to buff is just to strengthen something, so buffing a hero makes them more powerful, and nerfing a hero makes them weaker. Common in-game terms, so if you were to play, and those of you that do play have probably heard these, the terms lit, one hit, or can't die basically just refers to an enemy that is low health and can be easily picked off. X, purple or crossed out, means that the enemy can't heal as a result of an ability of Ana, one of the heroes in the game. Boosted generally means that you're currently receiving a mana boost buff, again from Ana, which is an ultimate ability that makes you stronger and takes less damage. Boosted can also refer to just a player who is ranked higher than they should be due to kind of manipulating the game, but that's not the use that generally occurs. Popping off and fragging out. I only bring these up mostly in relation to somebody on our Overwatch team who uses them a little more than he needs to. Basically just means you're doing well at the moment. GG easy, good game, it was easy. Generally meant as a joke, also use it as an insult. Context will tell you what that means. To push is just imposing on the enemy team moving forward, and to cap is to get on the objective and begin capturing it. So, you know, like get on and cap is meant to be captured. Winnable means you might be losing a fight, but somebody might know something that means, hey, we can win this, so get back in there and keep trying. And trickle in is kind of an idea of like going in one by one to a fight. Let's say the enemy team has all 6 on the point, and you're going in one by one. Everybody's going to die consecutively. Questions about any of the terminology? We've got 6 minutes.
Do you think Google is ready for the tactician that is Mason Ridley?
I do not think they're prepared. All right, so this will go through pretty quickly because we do have 6 minutes. But these are the heroes of the game. There were 21 at launch. There's currently 24. They've added 3 more through various successful or unsuccessful events. Heroes, building blocks of teams. Obviously, if you're going to have a 6v6 game and you can only have one of each on each team, you need to know the heroes and how they work together, and coordination is a big part of that. Hero roles, Blizzard gives you offense, defense, tank, and support, but no one really uses those kind of ranks. Mostly people just refer to DPS, tank, and support. People that do damage, people that take damage, and people that heal damage. So there's kind of subgroups within this, and this isn't an exact science, because a lot of people disagree on how to categorize different heroes and what each person's used for. But within DPS, you kind of have true DPS that just do a ton of damage. You've got flankers that are good at getting around and kind of picking off people quietly. And then you also specialists that just do very specific things. In tanks, you have main tanks, which take a lot of damage, create a lot of space through the use of shields and barriers. And you have off tanks that generally have different functionality. So like Roadhog we mentioned earlier, he takes a lot of damage, but he doesn't really have a shield, so he's kind of an off tank. Supports, you've got healers that just heal damage, and you also have utilities that do something to the battlefield or just change the game in more nuanced ways. So, looking at the heroes in the DPS, we have Genji, who is a very high mobility kind of cyborg ninja. I'm not going to go into specific abilities due to time. You got McCree, a true DPS, very popular, was really big in the meta a few months back, but due to buffs to Soldier 76, it's fallen down a little bit in the North American scene, but Korean Overwatch still loves him. Pharah doesn't really fit a great role. I know way too much about this, by the way. Pharah, really big, really great at low skill ratings because she's kind of hard to hit if you're not good at aiming yet, but she doesn't require that much aim because she's projectile rockets. Kind of a joke among a lot of people is if you want to climb on the ladder of ranking up, just play Pharah until mid-platinum, mid-diamond, because no one will be able to hit it. Reaper, not played very much recently. Season 2 of the Overwatch competitive scene, he was big because of a combo called Beyblading, which is just an ultimate combination that made him really powerful. But since then, a number of buffs, he's kind of fallen out of play. He's short range, big shotguns, a ton of damage against tanks, but not useful outside of that. Soldier 76, huge in the scene right now. True DPS, hit scan, a lot of sustainable damage, can heal himself, really just good all around. Sombra, she's a flanker, she has a machine pistol, she can hack things, she can turn invisible. She can kind of teleport into a predetermined location. She's really hard to play effectively, but in the right hands, she can actually do a lot of work because she's really high utility and just nullifying other people's effects. Tracer's kind of the face of Overwatch. She was their first hero in development from a hero concept they had for Titan. She kind of teleports around really quickly, does a lot of really quick short-range damage. really good flanker, not a whole lot of vertical movement. She's kind of hard to play, but she's easy to be decent at. So she's kind of got a medium difficulty but a high skill ceiling. But in good hands, people like professionals of Sinatra or about Calvin, not professional, but really devastating. Questions about any of the DPS? Yes, Taylor.
If you could be a hero, which one would you be?
I don't think I'd want to be any of the heroes because kind of the whole lore of the game is that they've had a pretty messed up past. If anybody, maybe McCree, because he seems to just go off and do his own thing and not be bothered too much by it. But like Genji's a cyborg because he basically got killed by his brother. Spoiler. Did you cut it? All right. There's a lot more. Thank you for your time.
Gotcha.
Oh, hold on.